Rattler has made it difficult on them. Tyler Shough was the 40th pick in the draft for a new coaching staff. So everybody figured, well, that made, once Derek Carr retired, that made Shough the favorite to start. But Rattler had a very strong offseason. He's had a very strong training camp. He has fans in that building, and there are people there that are interested in seeing what he can do. He's got 1 year of experience on Tyler Shough, and I don't think at this point it would be a total surprise to see the Saints go with Spencer Rattler to start the season. If that's what they do, it's because he won what, so far, I think you can take Kellen Moore at his word, has been a very even competition.
Yeah, and I think we can't let people look at Tyler Shough as the traditional rookie, right? This is a guy that had extensive time in college, and so he and Spencer Rattler are close in age. Spencer Rattler was a guy, a 5-star prospect. He was thought to be a first overall pick or first-round pick before he had to leave Oklahoma. So he has a ton of talent, and we're starting to see some of those things. So Kellen Moore has a big decision to make down the stretch here.
Yeah, Falcons fans holding their breath on this one. Right tackle Caleb McGarry was carted off the practice field today with what appears to be a leg injury. The Falcons are sending him for an MRI, and we await word on the severity of that. Remember, Caleb McGarry, the right tackle, their quarterback is left-handed, Michael Penix Jr., so Caleb McGarry is the blind side protector there in Atlanta, and part of a strong offensive line that they think is one of the reasons they have hope to challenge Tampa Bay and win this division. Tight end Darren Waller is on the Miami Dolphins. For anybody who missed that bit of offseason news, they activated him off the physically unable to perform list, and he's eligible to join them in practice. He came out of retirement, and the Giants traded him to the Dolphins, whose offensive coordinator is Frank Smith, a man he played for in Oakland and who he has publicly talked about having helped him through some off-field issues. So Darren Waller excited to play for Frank Smith in Miami. And in Tennessee, cornerback L'Jarius Sneed, who missed a huge chunk of last season with a quad injury, has been activated off of the PUP list as well and is eligible to return to practice for Tennessee. He had a procedure to fix the quad issue and also a cleanup on his knee in the offseason. L'Jarius Sneed now healthy and ready to go for the Titans. As we mentioned earlier, Jameson Hensley, our Ravens reporter, saying quarterback Lamar Jackson left practice because his foot got stepped on and that he is fine, according to a team spokesman. So anybody who saw reports earlier today about Lamar Jackson leaving practice, you can exhale.
Hey, Lamar Jackson has already shown us 2 times being the MVP that he's one of the best doing it at the quarterback position, but so is Jared Goff. Jared Goff has looked like a top quarterback over the last couple of seasons, since 2023, and then there's perception. What did you learn about how difficult it is for a quarterback to go from good to great?
That I don't know if it can be done. Like, it's one of those mystical and kind of mysterious things that happen with quarterbacking where you're able to get to the 99.8 or 99.7 percentile, but can you get to the 99.9th? Is it, and if you can't, then why is that? Is it because of surrounding talent? Is it because of timing? Is it because of the cosmos is aligned against you?
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things that haunts guys, and it's haunted Matt Ryan, because here Matt Ryan was, one of the greatest quarterbacks of his generation, and yet that question kind of hung over him. And at one point he was asked after he retired, like, what is it like being known as the guy who was the foil for the greatest comeback ever? And even though the guy has a borderline Hall of Fame career, he was like, frankly, it sucks, because those types of imperceptible errors hang over him.
Yeah, it's something about a competitor, right? And I just met with Jahmyr Gibbs, sat with David Montgomery, and, Jared Goff has this Cali laid-back vibe, but the one word they used for him was dog. What did you learn about his competitive nature over making this piece?
Well, it's not a question of his competitiveness. It's not a question of, whether he's wired the right way. It's just a question of whether, you're one of the 8 greatest people at your job in the world at any given time, but can you be one of the greatest 3? And I would be curious to know what you think. I mean, you played safety as well as anybody, and when you faced a quarterback that you knew was really, really good, but not a future Hall of Famer, I would be curious if you guys thought that the gap was this much, or if it was actually this much.
Well, I'm going to say this. There's a difference from when I played Aaron Rodgers and I played Tom Brady to playing the Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer, who was elitely talented, didn't have that thing. Every time you played Tom Brady, that thing showed up. When we played Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl, that thing showed up. And I think if you're someone who's going to knock Jared Goff, is waiting for that it factor in the big moment to take his team from very good to great. Seth, thank you so much, man. That was an amazing piece.
My pleasure, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Seth Wickersam, American Kings, a biography. They allowed the 5th fewest points per game and had the 2nd most efficient defense in all of the NFL. They also ranked top 5 in opponent total QBR and rush yards. Boog, do you think this defense could be good enough, especially early on, to carry the load for J.J. McCarthy?
No doubt, RC, and I think you have to look at the additions they made, especially on the defensive side of the football. Look on the interior, Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen, 2 guys who have been stalwarts from an interior standpoint. I think they'll be able to plug up the middle and get some pressure. Then on the back end, can you cover people? They get Rodgers over from Philadelphia, and they're going to try the reclamation project with Jeff Okudah. So can you stop the run, can you rush, and can you cover? And I didn't even talk about Dallas Turner or Van Ginkel. And you couple all of that with the scheme that Brian Flores has, I think this is something to deal with, because we know that B-flow is going to make your quarterback uncomfortable. They're going to make your defense, make your offensive line try to figure out which guys are coming and at what time they're coming. I think this defense is going to be a lot better than they were last year, this season.
Well, you know, the big thing about this defense, too, was we saw teams kind of understand where they were going to bring the blitz from, how to attack them. You know, you definitely saw that down the stretch, the Detroit Lions, in the playoffs, the Los Angeles Rams. What new wrinkles does Brian Flores have, especially early on in the season, to get some of these players to make plays and help J.J. McCarthy acclimate to being the new starting quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings? Now, we got to head to New England, where the Patriots made huge moves on the defensive side of the ball that hopefully can take some of the pressure off of Drake May. The Patriots improved all facets of their defense. They signed Super Bowl champion Milton Williams and gave him $63 million guaranteed, the 3rd amongst defensive tackles in all of the NFL. They also added cornerback Carlton Davis and linebackers Harold Landry and Robert Spillane. Lewis, they have all these new additions on the defensive side of the ball. Are they going to be good enough to take a second-year quarterback like Drake May to the playoffs?
Look, I think there's no question, Ryan, they'll lean into this defense, especially it's the new formulation here with all these new players. And if there's anyone that you trust to be able to get all these guys to play in concert and in unison, it's Mike Vrabel. Look, these guys are studs up front now. Milton Williams, we saw what he did in the Super Bowl. We saw how he wrecked the interior of the Kansas City Chiefs defense. We see at the linebacker position, Robert Spillane is one of those guys who's at the command and control center who will lock things down with the way he likes to play. Harold Landry, one of the best pass rushers, one of the best pure pass rushers in the NFL. Carlton Davis comes in, and he's going to be paired with Christian Gonzalez, who is arguably one of the best young corners in the entire National Football League. This unit, although it has a lot of new moving pieces at some critical spots, this is the new age of the NFL. There's going to be a lot of turnover, but again, if there's a guy who's going to be